Dealers are not allowed to advertise one price, but then to charge a higher price when a consumer attempts to acquire a vehicle. This is true even if the consumer has no knowledge of the advertised lower price. In this example, you can see a vehicle as being advertised as available for $113,000. However, when contacting the same dealership, the vehicle is not available unless the consumer pays an additional $20,000. This is not legal, and a consumer who leases or acquires this vehicle for that additional sum will be entitled for a refund of the $20,000. Again, this applies even if the consumer originally had no idea about the lower advertised price. Contact us if you have been defrauded in a similar fashion.
So welcome back to the channel, everybody. Welcome back to another video. And yes, I am on a run. I am absolutely on your side. I am on a mission to save you all money. I believe at this point in this economy, with all that's taking place in the world right now, interest rates and all the other factors I've shared, car repos increasing, banking regulations, banking tightening, lending restrictions, all this fun stuff that we're having to deal with as consumers, I think it's time that these dealers do not get markups anymore. The time on the market for so many of these expensive Dodge Chargers and Challengers and so many other cars out there is so much longer than what it used to be. It used to be where a red eye would show up to the dealership and that thing would be gone almost instantly. And it would be gone with the markup. I get it, those are market forces, and I disagree with the whole practice, no matter how you cut it, because when a manufacturer suggests a price, for many years, the belief has been that that price was negotiable down for the consumer's benefit, and dealers still made lots and lots of money on that manufacturer suggested retail price minus discounts and good negotiation tactics from borrowers or from consumers. But now, because of the supply chain issues that happened the last 3 years, dealers have gotten really cocky and they are charging massive markups. And now we're at the tail end of that, despite rates going to the moon, despite all the issues in the world right now. They're hanging on tight. They won't let go. They're stuck in denial. They're sure that some sucker's going to walk in and say, okay, I'll pay you $30,000 more. And yes, in my comment section, some of you have chimed in and said, well, I did it. I paid 30 grand more. I paid 20 grand more. And look, I'm not here to make you feel stupid. I'm not. You wanted the car, you got the car, you had the cash. It's your world, it's your money. You do anything you want with it. Okay? I'm not gonna beat you up about that. I think that it hurts us all when we acquiesce like that. But it's your money. Again, do whatever you want with it. But where I'm at with this is, if you were misled, if you responded to an ad and showed up to a dealership and found out at the dealership that the price was significantly higher due to a markup, then you may be able to sue. And you saw the commercial at the beginning of the video that I saw, that I got sent to me by one of my subscribers, and it took me on a rabbit hole online to go do a little search to find out what else is what other lawyers out there are taking these cases on. And it turns out in every state where the laws really are beneficial to the consumers, lawyers are jumping in on this. Now, there is a feeling I've always had about lawyers that I want to get out of the way, and that is that I hate them. I've always hated lawyers, but I've grown to find an affinity for our legal system, because the way things got worked out back in the Western days was you would shoot it out in the parking lot or shoot it out in the middle of the street in town.
I forgot all the fancy rigmarole that goes with this, so I'll just say ready, aim, fire. And cock your hammers on ready.
To solve a dispute, to solve an argument. And that's not good. I think everybody would agree. So we created this legal system, and we need lawyers to navigate this very complicated legal system. So if I take some of the most hated people in the world, which are car dealers, car salespeople, and I take the second most hated group of people in the world, which are attorneys, and get them against each other. That's like the best cage fight in the world. So now you've got two groups of people who are willing to do and say anything to win, battling it out. And I believe the righteous one, the one that's going to win, is the one defending the consumer. So the attorney I featured at the beginning on the little commercial that I played, that I saw on Instagram, I have reached out to him, and I'm working on setting up an interview to go through all the details of you getting your money back if you paid a markup. The key point that he says in that ad that I've read so far online with other attorney websites is that even if you bought the car with the markup, let's say you drove in there, saw the car, and bought it with the markup, and never saw an ad where it was advertised at MSRP, you could still go back and potentially get your money back. To hear that gives me hope that some of you who were so caught up in the FOMO ran into a dealership, saw the car, and got told that this thing was going to appreciate in value, and you said, man, that's cool, I'll pay $25,000 over, in some cases $50,000 over. There's a chance, and I would certainly go look into that, of getting your money back. And there's ways of finding the advertisements for the time that your car was actually being marketed before you walked in and bought it with that huge markup. So if you can do some research online and find any advertisements where the price advertised for your car was MSRP, which it happens all the time. A lot of things are automatically uploaded when the cars arrive at the dealerships. If you can find that advertisement and then call one of these attorneys, you may be able to get some or all of your money back. And I can tell you, nothing would make me happier than to see some of you get your money back for getting completely nailed on these cars. But Brad, a deal's a deal. I shook the guy's hand and I made a deal with him. And by the way, the car salesmen are definitely commenting in the comment section, and they are mad. How do I know I'm saying all the right things now? Is they are mad. They are ripping me apart in the comment section. I'm getting some DMs with some nasty stuff said to me, of course, from anonymous accounts that have no followers, that are private. It's beyond hilarious. But I will tell you, making a deal is one thing. Getting lied to and misled about the future values of something when they likely know full and well that that car is not going to go up in value, sticking you with a $30,000 markup when there were no other buyers standing around trying to buy that car. It wasn't market forces because there wasn't a bidding war taking place. You weren't competing like they did with real estate back the last 3 years, where the only way a price went up significantly was when there were real, tangible 3, 4, 5, 6, sometimes 30 to 40 buyers trying to buy that one thing that everyone knew existed in writing on contract, versus these cars where there was no other buyers anywhere to be found that day you went in, and suddenly you're like, man, it's the hardest car to get. If I don't buy it now, someone else is going to buy it. Yet it was sitting there for a month with no one buying it because it was overpriced. If it was really the hottest deal in the world, there would be a line outside the dealership of people bidding that price up. But instead, what they're doing is they're choosing a price out of thin air and sticking it on the car and saying that's what it's worth because it's a last call, because you're never going to get them again because it's the last year. So for that reason, if you can get your money back, contact an attorney. Here's the simple thing, what I read in vehicle code, and I'll read this. Vehicle code 11713.1E. When car dealers publish advertisements for cars and trucks and those ads include asking prices, then the dealers are prohibited from selling the advertised vehicles for more than their advertised prices, unless the ads specifically list expiration days that have passed. Further, section 260.04B, this is for California, of course, so check your state, of the regulations promulgated by California's Department of Motor Vehicles, further mandates that advertised prices must be sold at or below advertised price, irrespective of whether or not the advertised price has been communicated to the purchaser. meaning if you bought the car but never saw an ad, but find an ad later, you can hold that dealership responsible, according to this article from another lawyer. And there's also an article that I found, and I'll post these in my description below, but this one's how to charge more MSRP without getting sued. And this was a blog written to car dealerships, to car salesmen, car dealerships, on how to do it without getting in trouble. And the law pretty much, at least in California, appears, based on this article, that one, you've got the normal sticker that goes on the window, but you got to have a supplementary sticker on the window that clearly explains that this is a added markup, market adjustment, and explaining what it is. They can't call it some admin fee or something else. And it's got to be on the car. So if you show up to the dealership and the normal window sticker, like I did with that Chrysler 300 the other day, the sticker, the normal sticker, is on the window saying $55,000. And there is no supplemental sticker on there. My expectation is, had I asked somebody there if that car has a markup, I would bet anything they would have said yes, it's a $10,000 or $15,000 markup. Because they don't have that supplemental sticker on that car and it's out on the lot for customers to see, based on what I'm reading here, I would be able to go after them for whatever markup that they charged me, or compel them to sell me that car for the sticker price that's on the window. So my suggestion would be to video everything when you go to these dealerships. Video what stickers are on the windows. And if you do end up paying that markup, at least have enough proof showing that you were wildly misled in the process, so that maybe you can at least go back and make a case to get some or all of your money back. Look, they've been playing dirty with us. We got to play dirty with them. And what better way than to leverage the legal system and existing laws in place to stop them from advertising prices, only to have us show up and then find out that there's a supplemental sticker on there for $30,000 more or $50,000 more. Now, with the recent example I gave you on that Charger, they were advertising the car properly. With that said, there was a moment in time, if you look at Car Gurus, where it shows the car came on the market for $104,000. Then it showed a price increase to $134,000. So you can see that these things are hitting the market at MSRP, and then they go back in and change the price. Now, at least they changed the price. They're making an attempt to be transparent. So I give them kudos for that, despite charging that markup. But many of those cars, when you're going through Car Gurus, the new cars, they're advertised for MSRP. And when you click on it, you go in, and some of them, they'll have the little tiny microscopic disclaimer that says prices are subject to change, prices are subject to market conditions. That's why I want to interview this attorney to find out, does that apply, and does that let them off the hook? I can't imagine you can advertise that price in huge bold type and then have some microscopic disclaimer somewhere. In some websites, you have to actually click a few links to get to it, and that gets them off the hook. But maybe it does. But that's where I got to ask the attorney and learn more about that. This website where they're giving the dealerships advice also says it's a really bad practice if they were to charge $3,500 for pinstriping, knowing that that's nowhere near the market value of that. That a judge or a jury would likely have a problem with that. So would a regulator would likely have a problem with that, because it's deceptive, and add-ons don't fall into the advertised price. So if you show up and the car is $105,000 and there's $7,000 in add-ons, they did not have to advertise that in that price, because they're add-ons, according to this article. So that's why you'll see some dealers charging $5,000 for window tint, because there's no need to put that in the advertised price online, apparently, according to this article. And that in itself is deceptive, which leads to, again, $5,000 for window tint. I've got to think the regulators might have a problem with that, and they also might, and also a judge or a jury might have a problem with it as well and give you back that money, because in nowhere on the planet Earth does window tint on 4 windows or 5 windows cost $5,000. I don't believe they make a window tint that costs that much money, or a perma guard or whatever on the car that is $1,000, and all it is a glorified wax job. I mean, these things are very suspect. So with that, stay tuned for a video. Hopefully I can set up with this attorney. If I can't get this attorney, the one at the beginning here, I'll get another attorney and get someone who's an expert on this subject to share with you, because in my mission to save you all that money. Now, mind you, in the past you've accused me of doing this because I was upset and had sour grapes I didn't get a car. I got this gorgeous Swinger, probably my favorite car next to my red eye that I've ever had, and I got it at Sticker. And I showed you that in one of my other videos. I have a Demon 170 coming at Sticker. So I'm not in the market right now for a Hellcat or a Hellcat Red Eye. If I stumbled across one and it was MSRP and the right spec, would I do it? Maybe. I love the idea of being broke and eating cat food when I'm a senior citizen. So I would probably lose my mind and buy it if the deal was right. Who knows? And then I would have to figure out what the hell to do with the 170. But that's the benefits of working my ass off for well over 30 years in my industry and being able to make those decisions. But it would be very bad, and my wife would be very upset, because my green car is beautiful. With that said, everybody, I hope these videos are helping you. Stay vigilant. I'm going to keep pushing new strategies, new ideas, as much as I possibly can, new information to help you all. I'm going into full consumer advocate mode to get these dealers more and more on the ropes so we can get our cars, get them at fair prices, and without getting screwed, without paying stupid add-ons and all this other stuff. And sometimes we win, sometimes we don't, but I'm thinking, based on the comments, lots of comments, read the comments. I had a dealer write yesterday in in my last video, a couple days ago, my last video, that he was supporting the dealerships and how everything I'm doing is horrible and I'm wrong and I'm this evil person. And I'm sitting here laughing, thinking, we're getting to you, man. And he says, oh, by the way, it would be naive of you to think anybody can get one of these cars at MSRP. As I'm sitting in one that I got for MSRP. Oh, but you're a YouTuber, so they gave you a deal. No, I'm not a big YouTuber. Nobody's giving me a deal. Nobody's walking away from 10 or 15,000 because of my little tiny YouTube channel. But he says it's naive to think that. Yet all around his comments, in the comment section, are you folks writing, I just got mine for MSRP, I just got mine for $3,000 under, I just got mine for $2,000 under, I just got mine for $1,000 under, I just got mine for MSRP, all over the comment section. I don't know. Who's naive? I'm thinking he's naive. With that, everybody, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.